Funhaus is sponsored by ExpressVPN. You don't want your internet provider seeing all the sites you visit? Hide your browsing activity at expressvpn.com/funhouse.
Hey everybody, welcome to Funhaus, the show about movies, TV, everything on that side of the industry. Today we have some special guests joining us to talk about our shared love of movies. Aside from James.
Hello. I'm here all the time.
The most special of guests.
Sometimes hosting, sometimes a guest.
Our guests have a really cool game that's on Kickstarter right now. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But first, you may recognize them from SourceFed or NBC's Bring the Funny. But you probably know them as the funny, wacky, and whimsical two-thirds of the comedy trio, the Valleyfolk. It's Joe Berta and Steve Zaragoza.
Hi! Wow. We generally insert canned applause here. So just imagine people clapping for you and hearing them holler.
I prefer fresh applause, not canned.
Oh.
When does this applause go bad? I do not want to open it up before.
Yeah, best if used by November 17th.
Flash frozen applause.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. How are you?
It's not about us, okay? Great, the guest.
You know, I wanted to say that, so I've been asked how I'm doing a couple of times today, and I had to think about it for real every time. And I think I've come to the conclusion that it feels like things are a bit better, but still terrifying. So so that's just kind of like the umbrella I feel like I'm under, and then I have all those like stresses and normal things that you have being a neurotic human like myself. But other than that, I think I'm doing just fine.
That's lovely to hear. I mean, this show is about movies, but I'm glad you told us.
I'm sorry. You asked me how I was doing.
I'm just kidding.
He watches movies. You asked him how he was. That's the Kevin Bacon.
I love that you said that because it was a genuine and a very needed answer to hear from someone. I feel like.
Oh, that was a good cover up.
Yeah.
Because Elyse only ever gets to ask me because we're quarantined together, obviously. And my response is generally the same as when you find the first zombie in Resident Evil.
the one that is baked into my brain forever as a terrifying image. The one that's like,
that's me.
There it is.
That's me every single time.
Yeah, I find like the blanket like good, which is what we say in normal times, is now just oh, you know.
Yeah.
You come on, you know.
Yeah.
I'm surviving.
I write those emails where I go, hey, I hope all is well, parentheses, as can be. That's the email I send to everyone.
I love that.
Your tax accountant is like, thanks for checking in.
Okay, well, thanks for following up.
Do you guys
don't know what else to say?
Do you guys play games and work like across from each other? Is that what this setup is? Like,
I shit in that corner too. It's all within this four.
That's the shit corner. That's the dinner corner. Do not confuse the corners.
If you take a quick look, this is my desk. So this is my studio space, and then right behind me is where Elyse generally works and records and poops.
Which, when we're on the movie game, the Valleyfolk show that we love, which is about movies, and we'll get to that later, that's where that magic happens.
We film it over there because that's where we want the stinky smells. And then if you look just slightly over Elyse's right shoulder, you can see a microwave and trash can because that is officially where our kitchen begins.
Nice.
And that is the beautiful square footage that we've been allotted.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, what decade are you in?
Look at this. This is my fridge
right
here.
Look at that.
Fridge and kitchen. And then over here is just, this is where my Muppet is.
Whoa, Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle.
He looks like a Fraggle hostage. Like right over here is where my Fraggle's got duct tape on his Fraggle mask.
Help me!
He's got Fraggle Stockholm syndrome.
Did you also just immediately assign that Fraggle to Dave Coulier? They were this one and the same for me as a child.
That's
I would see
so
that
interesting. I never considered that, but yeah. I mean, if anything, Dave Coulier, I think, ripped off Wembley
Morissette.
Oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't it? Yeah, isn't it ironic?
You ought to know. Yes, music podcast. Here's my little family corner in our place that's right behind me. This is where all family junk shit goes. School supplies, left
Birth
the room.
certificates.
Birth certificates, social security cards, all that stuff. So we're all faking it.
Oh well.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well,
Yeah.
we're in our studio.
Isn't it weird? Oh yeah, we got our apartments.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the Kickstarter you guys have out, the movie game, but I wanted us to play a few rounds, which I think is going to be the highlight of this podcast because I love this game so much.
You're sweet.
So I want to leave it till the end to keep the audience
Great.
baited.
I've got 5 from this prototype pack that I picked out that I think are not
haven't done?
episodes that you were on. I think.
Okay.
Nice.
So-
But also,
Okay.
like, you guys are kind of like the stars of the show. Like, if Family Matters was about the family first and then Steve Urkel stole the show, I think that's what's happening with our movie game. You guys are the Steve
No.
Urkel of the movie
Ooh, I
game.
can't wait
That-
for you guys to take the cool potion. Who do you turn into?
Oh,
Well, I would be. I would be.
I turn into Judy.
Oh, and you go
Matters.
upstairs.
Yeah,
Oh.
I go upstairs.
You'd be like Lisa. Well, I guess you have the same cool last name,
Well,
right? Because it's
I-
just a repurposing of the phonetics.
I think you would turn into,
Jamez.
Jamez.
but yeah, like I
Yeah.
love movie games so much, and the thing that I have loved about playing it is I think that I've realized that we all have very similar movie sensibilities, probably because we're close to age
Yeah.
to one another. But it's like all the references we make, you guys get, and I love it.
Well, it's funny
I love it
because
so much.
the Smosh folks were plug real quick. Shout out, name drop. The Smosh kids were playing the movie game on a stream the other day, and they're like, they're not like way younger than us, but they're not quite our age. And a lot of them were like, are these movies from like 1920 or something?
Yeah.
Well,
And
one
I
of them
like,
actually
no,
was.
You just yeah. There's the youngins struggle a little bit with some of them, but that makes the game more challenging, I think.
In the
some ways.
prototype pack for sure. It'll be a lot more across the whole spectrum of movie
Yeah.
history in the
We-
final.
Can you explain what the game is? Because I feel like we
Absolutely
start talking
not.
about it.
Joe,
For,
don't do
maybe
it.
some people
Okay,
have
yeah, we're
seen
gonna
us
go. We
on
have
it.
to go.
Joe, don't do this,
We
Joe.
gotta get
Don't
out
do
of
this
here.
now.
I won't. So basically, it's just smash 'em ups. It's wordplay and brain ticklers.
Smash 'em ups.
Smash 'em ups.
Ah, now I see.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my God, screw it. I was going to save it for the end of the podcast. Let's do it now.
Okay,
I
great.
think,
Here we
Joe,
go.
I think
Let's do
what
it
Joe's
now.
trying to say is mashups. Like it's like
I call them smash 'em ups. Thank you very much.
that. I don't know. That sounds like something. Like a boomer would say.
That's my
when
cool-
trying to.
Oh, is it?
It's my
That
cool
was a
street
term.
name for heroin.
It was the term they used in the vaudeville era, and that was when I was a boy, and so it's a term that
It
sucks.
makes me think of, because I'm 75, the Wheel of Fortune before and after
Yes,
category.
that's exactly what it is. 100%.
Well, it's like it's just taking
A
movie
classic
titles
smash 'em up.
and mashing them up like a classic smash 'em up.
Like,
But yeah. So, all right. Can I interject? I had nothing to do with the creation of this. I'm merely a participant on it and love to do it.
One of Joe's
So I'm just going
pawns.
to address our audience directly.
Okay.
yes, please.
So basically, you take two movie titles and you smash them up.
Thanks for having me, guys. I gotta
Goodbye.
go. Thank you.
Let the Fraggle go, Steve.
No, he's mine. You're mine.
That was really good.
We take two
Like,
movie titles. We slam the movie titles together, both spelling wise and phonetically. Yes, that's the word. And then I write cheeky movie synopses for the new title. I give those to people in the game, the card game. They're on the card. You read them to the people that are playing with you, and you have them guess the smash together title. And
It's a
it's
smash 'em up.
it's a smash 'em up. It's a good old smash 'em up, laugh 'em
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It's a schmaff 'em up.
Just like your
Smash 'em
mom
up,
used
gaff
to
'em
make.
up.
So, example off the top of my head. There's a big boat, and Jack gets on the big boat, but unfortunately his son was kidnapped, and now Johnny Depp only has a certain amount of time before his son's going to be murdered, so he has to commit crimes. Titanic of time. Easy.
Oh, Nick of Time. I was going with
Titanic
Titanic
of
window.
Time. That's really good.
All I remember from
Joel's
that,
writing that down.
it's oh man, I can see the poster. He's running.
Yeah.
There's like a
that whole movie is
flash of
desaturated
light.
too.
Yeah. Nobody
There you
watched
go.
that movie except for us.
Well, if you haven't seen it, James and I are very fortunate to be frequent guests on Movie Game, and we just fucking love it so much.
We're like what's his name? We just watched the Johnny what year is it? We just watched the Johnny Carson that he was on, the very flamboyant comedian from the
name.
70s.
You talking Rip Taylor?
No.
Close though. Let's see.
Close.
No,
Very
he's
close.
the guy that talks like this, and I forget his name.
Charles Nelson Riley. Charles Nelson Riley is who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Is it the guy
We're
that's
like
always
the
on Hollywood Squares?
Oh, CNR. CNR.
We're like the
Canadian
Charles
National
Nelson
Railway?
Riley of Movie Game. He is the. None of this matters because now we've. Okay, so imagine if you
here's the
took
question.
us and you smashed us up with Charles Nelson Riley.
Yeah, so they're
Okay, so
these two are lovely
Yeah.
guests on it all the time. To the point where now, when I don't have you on, just
we
as
get upset.
you get upset and I feel
Yeah.
bad. I feel like I
we
didn't
make-
take my kids to the park, but I took the other kids
Oh,
to
okay.
the
But
park.
we're not fun guests.
I would say that
We're not fun guests because we get
We
really
saw it.
serious about it.
we
I
saw
don't
it.
think that's true.
That's not true at all.
You guys are, like I said, I think you guys are becoming the stars of the show.
Well, I just
Eclipsing Joe.
I appreciate that, and I
I'm not
also
even in it.
appreciate the earlier mentioned Family Matters reference. So I would say we're more like the girl that comes in that's interested in Steven that was also really
Oh
hot.
yeah. And
Myra.
I never
Myra.
understood why he didn't just.
She was
Hook up
so
with
Had
her.
them both.
She was so
He coulda had
adorable.
them
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Finger in it.
dude, give me her number if you don't want.
But anyway, I must say though that if the show was just people like us, you guys would never hit your 10-minute or 8-minute YouTube ads on both end runtime because most of the show is people going, I don't think I've seen that one. And then you reference Demon Knight, and the only delay in our side is me running to get my DVD copy. So like,
Well, I think what's happening is you guys are also so good at it that our editor Kevin, who's edited quite a few of the movie game episodes that we have on our channel, he'll just like edit you guys to look consistently like you're the best players.
shout out to Kevin.
It's not fair.
But
Shout out to
it's
Kevin.
because you guys are actually like, I'd say top 3 of all time. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I was even
But
thinking.
there's also 2 of us.
I mean, that's true. Every once in a while, I have Alana in here helping me, but
But lately we do flex and we say them together. So,
Yeah. You do.
We try and do it, yeah. We are, yeah. You take James, you take Elyse, and you smash them up.
yeah, it's a smash 'em up.
Well, we're gonna talk about like to movies and stuff, but
Are we though?
are you down if we play a couple cards of the game and you can play along at home too?
And by the way, if any of this sounds fun, or even if it sounds terrible, check the link in the description. We're gonna throw a link down to the Kickstarter so you guys can get your hands.
And we'll
on it.
talk about that.
please.
We'll pump it at the
yeah.
end too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, that sounds
yeah.
great because there's a bunch of tiers on that Kickstarter that kind of like bring the game to some other levels and are kind of paving a path for the future as well. So we can talk about
Solid
that later.
gold cards.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you get cards and coins.
For the top tier.
All right, here we go. Movie game examples from the prototype pack that we printed out, which makes it just feel so real and cool, by the way. You haven't been on these episodes, I think, but if not, you guys can pretend. It'll be fun. Steve, you can chime in as well because I know you forget.
I forget them all. As soon as I guess it and move on, it is left my brain.
Yeah.
Like,
All right.
so every time I play this, it's brand new to me.
And some of these are some of my favorites as well. So here we go. Movie game promotional podcast edition. Here we go. Baby Natalie P teams up with a plant-loving hitman to take down an underground K9 gambling ring, culminating in the hit showstopper, Let's Make Music Together.
Okay, so I got the first one. This is generally how it works.
I don't know either.
You don't know either of them?
No, was Constant Gardener one?
This is
So
fun
this-
to watch you guys do this live. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
what Joe
so-
gets
okay.
every
Hitman
time.
Plant guy.
What?
Who's the Hitman Plant guy?
Well, if he's going with the French title, Leon the Professional.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy. I was just looking up what Jean Reno is doing in 2020. He has aged quite a bit, and then he just had a movie come out this year, I think.
Oh, really?
Still pumping them out.
Because I know he did he do that one Cloud Atlas or something? Or what was the one that he did that was like Cloud Atlas, but Valerian? Didn't he do Valerian?
Was he in Valerian?
No, Jean Reno. Oh, wait, not sorry. I was thinking of the director of
Fifth Element.
Oh, yeah.
Fifth Element.
You're thinking of Luc Besson.
Luc Besson, that's who I was thinking.
Yeah, who has the exact same
Jean-Luc
reverse
Besson
French
Picard.
Could you read it again, Joe?
Yes. Baby Natalie P teams up with a plant-loving hitman to take down an underground canine gambling ring, culminating in the hit showstopper, Let's Make Music Together.
Underground canine gambling ring.
Steve, I can see you jamming.
Professional dogs go to heaven.
I got it.
Wait, what did you just say?
Leon,
The
professional dogs go to heaven.
Yeah, 1 for 1, baby.
I wasn't gonna say it because they got it.
My brain didn't listen to half of that person. Natalie P. I should have been like, yeah.
Guys, Don Bluth needs more love. Some of the music in some of his films are great, and Let's Make Music Together is one of the best animated songs ever created. Hot take.
Okay.
It's all right.
I'm not
It's
going
a
to
good
argue.
chorus. The rest of it is forgettable.
Ah, you shut your mouth. Okay, can you get him out of here? All right, next one. Next one, let's go with... Oh, this one's fun. This is one of my favorites. A ragtag group of seemingly discarded appliances are on an adventure to find their master, whilst outrunning the T-1000.
Ready?
All right, hold on. So, okay, yeah.
Full title.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, we gotta pretend. I feel like it's touching my tongue. I feel like it's okay.
The Brave Little Toast Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Yeah, we went for
There we go, baby. He's cut out a little bit on our end. You're good.
Guys, I have been secretly working on a brand new movie game prompt that I created that I will present to both of you and Joe for the first time. Joe has never been given one live to guess. So after you guess this one, I got another one.
Okay, we'll do one more, and that's great.
All right.
Maybe
Titanic
you guys will
of Time?
struggle on this.
Shit, you got it.
Titanic of Time.
Joe, do you ever regret that you can't play it?
No. I really do have fun just like like just watching people get it. Like when you guys say it for the first time, it really, when I go yeah in the show, it's 100% genuine because it's fun watching everybody just get that moment of realization. And Steve's gonna now show how big of a fraud I am because I'm not gonna be able to get what his is. So last one for you guys is
you're
this.
like a DM, Joe. Like a DM never gets to really like play the game, but they enjoy being a DM.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh, and by the way, for people that are listening, so that's the gist of the game. On these cards, I have a bonus point system, which we will put into effect for this card. And if there's a hint for each movie that we're also throwing on the cards. So if you're playing the game and you need a hint, we're giving those. But it's also like, play this game however the hell you want. You know, if you want to give more hints, give some more fucking hints. You know, do we swear on this podcast? Do we not swear on this podcast?
Yes. In fact, yeah. If you don't swear, we can't put it up. So.
Shit. Fuck. No. All right.
We bleep everything else but swears.
Yeah.
All right.
Our audio listenership is way down.
Here we go. A well-to-do businessman unexpectedly falls for a charming prostitute. Will their love survive society's preconceived notions and a chainsaw-wielding Nicolas Cage hell-bent on revenge?
Got it.
Okay, yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Pretty Womandy.
Yeah! Dun, 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 dun.
Damn.
Yeah, they're too good. The struggle ain't real with them. Okay,
I
so
love it.
if you were to have asked me for... we'll just do the bonus point system. Okay, so bonus point system, if you want to make these cards in this game go a little farther when you have it at home, is we've put the year that the movies were made on the card. So, for a bonus point, what year was Pretty Woman made?
Oh man, I'm terrible with years.
I'm going to guess 1991.
That's what I was thinking. It was 91.
yeah, because How in relation to Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Where it was pretty warm.
Jurassic Park was 94, right? Or 93?
How close to Mystic Pizza?
I'm gonna say 92, just for the sake of covering the spread.
You went the
That's
wrong.
nice.
You spread the wrong way, my friend. It's
Shit.
1990.
Always the way.
So close.
And then what year was Mandy made?
2019? Was it 2019?
Was it
No.
2019?
I was like 2017. No, 2018.
2019.
19.
2018. Steve gets the bonus point. And
Son of a balls.
But look how weird his pinkies look.
I told you not to bring up my weird pinkies. No,
But I'm
Prior to the
secretly glad
podcast.
you did.
Prior to the
My pinkies
podcast,
don't look weird until I do this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're double jointed. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's just
Look at
they're
look
just
at my.
No, your pinkies are like two magnets that don't want to touch.
they don't want to be together. Yeah, they don't want to kiss.
Prior to the show, Steve said, I've recently noticed how weird my pinkies look.
Yeah,
And then I said, save it for the show. And then he said, don't bring it up, but do.
yeah. Well, I mean, I was just saying that I've developed a complex because when I do
now you're
praying hands, I can see my
Oh.
little pinky things. Yeah,
It's as complex as
sorry.
your bone structure in your hands.
Thank you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Fucked
you
up
guys
shit,
want to
man.
do this bonus one that I just
Yeah.
created?
Yes, do it.
Okay. And Joe gets to play. This is exciting.
All right.
We'll let Joe answer first.
Well, I've been
Okay.
promising Joe that I was gonna do my own version that I would host so that he could play and do a bunch of them. This will come eventually. I promise you
Okay.
this, because Joe needs a break from the movie game at some point. But
That's all I
okay,
have. Don't take it from me.
okay, I don't have the years, so forget about the bonus part. This is just movie mashup. Mash 'em ups.
Smash 'em, smash.
Smash 'em ups.
Crash TV.
A lonely widow, longing for a child of her own, plants a barley seed which grows into a woman who acquires incredible telekinetic abilities after a motorcycle accident, eventually threatening an entire military complex amidst chaos and rebellion in a sprawling futuristic metropolis.
Hold on.
Oh,
Is this
man, the whole
is this 3 of them?
you cut out the whole time for me. All right, one more time. Sorry,
Sorry.
listeners.
All right, I'm gonna slap it because I'm back again. Okay.
All right, go.
A lonely widow, longing for a child of her own, plants a barley seed which grows into a woman who acquires incredible telekinetic abilities after a motorcycle accident, eventually threatening an entire military complex amidst chaos and rebellion in a sprawling futuristic metropolis.
I don't think I know the first one, but I have a guess.
Do you want a hint?
Is it 2? Is it 2 or 3?
It's 2.
It's 2.
Okay.
It's 2.
Okay. Motorcycle accident. Something Metropolis.
Acquiring telekinetic abilities after a motorcycle accident, eventually threatening an entire military complex.
Is it Thumbelina Kira?
Yeah!
Wow.
Joe, you got
Wow.
your first one!
Yes, it feels so good.
Yes! The Williams are like, this. We gotta kill this thing. We can't have Joe getting it and not us.
I should have given you guys a chance to say. I'm sorry. I just
No, Joe,
this
go
is for
first.
you. This is for you.
Shit, that's going in the game, baby.
Hell yeah! Nice.
The first one I was like, this feels like it's a fable of some kind, but I don't know.
I thought for sure it was 3, and the middle one was Phenomenon.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing. And full circle on Don Bluth. That movie sucks. I don't like that movie.
Alana
at all.
loves that fucking movie, man.
No way,
It's
man.
on all the time here.
My daughter watched it nonstop. Like, she went from Shrek. She grew up watching a lot of Shrek and was like, I can handle this. You can watch this on repeat forever. And then she went into Goofy movie for a bit, and I was like, hell
Right.
yeah, this is amazing. This is like this is the kid that I wanted. And then she found Thumbelina, and it was on for like a year. And then she disappeared, and we had Hayden. So it's great.
Great. Perfect. Problem solved.
It's very funny.
Missing
But
children.
essentially, yeah, that's movie game.
Yeah, that's it.
That's that at its most base level. It's that kind of fun party game enjoyment stuff, and it's always a blast to do. I love it.
We'll shout it out again at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to go Kickstarter and get your own copies.
Yeah, I've got my trolliest card in the prototype deck here that I just like to read. I made it for, I think, Steve and Anthony Carboni when he was on. If you're interested, it's, like you said, it's at the Kickstarter, and it's not just this. Our expansion packs, and you guys were on one of these episodes, I think. We have video game, movie game, where we smash them up, a video game title and a movie title, and then we also have TV show movie game, where we smash TV shows and movies together. And the Kickstarter is doing okay, but if it does even better, there's a world. And if the game does well and we make it and people keep getting it, we have some expansion ideas like the People game, which is a video that I'll probably do soon that I'll try to get you guys on as well, which it's I was doing actor for a while, but it only goes so far, so we're gonna take people from all walks of life and smash them together. It's gonna be good.
Love that.
Yeah. This isn't nearly as creative as the game you guys came up with, but Elyse, myself, Josh Flanagan, and Zach Anner would often play this game, and Nadia as well, who also works at Rooster Teeth, Nadia Elias. We would play this game where basically you would shout out an actor's name.
Nicole Kidman, and then it'd basically pass. You had to name a movie that Nicole Kidman was in, and it basically works like a battle royale. So if you can't get it, you're eliminated, and it goes to the next person. Yeah. Until only one person remains who's able to name the movies.
Whoa.
And we did one with Daniel Day-Lewis, and I think we got all of it. It worked out.
It worked out
where just the last two people had like the last movies, and it just was like, sorry, there's no more, and the person won by default. But it was it's not as creative, but just in terms of like, if you like to talk about movies and if you like to have fun trying to remember movies and stuff like that, if you're a cinephile, like this is so much fun to do.
I've done that before. It's really fun. Steve has a game he used to play with us too, so I'll pass the ball to Steve. The Leonard Maltin game or something?
Oh, yeah. So there's this Leonard Maltin game that Doug Benson came up with, and he would play it on his movie show, his movie podcast. But it's essentially doing, it's like taking movie titles. God, I can't remember how the fuck it goes. Joe put me on the spot. There was one version of the game where you take movie titles and you continually connect them. And you keep going and going and going and going. Like, oh God, what would be one? Like, give me a movie.
Nick of Time.
Okay, so Nick of Time After Time. So and then the next player would have to go like
Nick of Time After Time to Kill.
There it is. Nick of Time After Time to Kill a Mockingbird or something.
And you would go down the line.
And then you try to make the longest possible movie title ever.
I remember what you did. I remember now. You'd go to like Internet Movie Database or someplace like that, and you'd start reading the synopsis. You'd get like, I can name
that's what it was.
That's movie in one line or two lines.
No, it was Leonard Maltin's. It was using Leonard Maltin's movie guide. So he has like this movie guide where you could like look up every movie basically, and it would give you his rating and his like synopsis or whatever. And so you would read like, you know, the actors starting from the lowest billed actor all the way up. Yeah. And then you give them a little bit of the description of the movie, and people would have to like guess it with the fewest amount of actors going from the least billed to the stars.
That's fun. I love that.
Something I used to love doing but can't really do as much in our streaming culture world is guessing a movie as early into the movie as you can without knowing what movie it is. So like it just shows like Dimension Films.
Oh,
like Scream.
You're watching TV and a movie just comes on TV.
Yeah. And you don't know what it is, and you just see the logo, or you hear like the start of a score or whatever. You know, like it's like Matrix. Like you immediately try and do. Or the best ones are movies from like the '80s, like old John Candy and like Bill Murray movies. It'll be like an opening shot, because none of those logos. It's like Geffen Films or whatever,
or TriStar with the
TriStar.
unicorn.
But all of those are pretty much locked. It wasn't until like later on, before the movies became bigger brands, that like the Matrix would change the logo or whatever. Or Harry Potter, you know, would come before Warner Brothers.
Man, I wonder. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, but like, so a fun one is like, it always starts establishing shot in New York City.
Right.
And you're like, quick change. You know, and you're like,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ah!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's so good. That's so good. What I was thinking, what was the first movie to do that? To like make their, because I remember Batman Returns had like a snowy, dark Warner Brothers logo before it.
Yeah.
I wonder what was the first movie to do like the movie themed version of the of the like
Dude,
studio logo.
I know that I'm spoiled as a cinephile, a movie watcher, a movie goer. When I see a movie start, especially like a blockbuster that you go to or something in the theaters, and if the logo from the production company doesn't somehow transition into the movie, I'm like, fuck you. That's some lazy
you
shit.
expect it now.
I want it. Yeah, show me the creativity. You got this free pass to do this. Take your logo and then like morph it and bring the people into the movie in a cool way.
Yeah.
I love it.
If your logo isn't a human centipede eating itself, I don't want to watch it.
I love the Scott Pilgrim one where the Universal logo is pixelated and the music's all chiptune and shit.
That's
I
a
love
perfect freaking movie. I love that movie so
Perfect.
much.
Managuchi.
Oh yeah.
Perfect,
Alright,
except for I don't give a crap about Scott Pilgrim in that movie. Like I don't want him to win.
Oh, he's
our
kind of a
protagonist,
shithead, yeah.
but he's kind of a piece of shit. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm along for the ride because it looks so cool and Edgar Wright's fucking awesome and everything else is great. Who's this Culkin? But I'm like, fuck you, Scott Pilgrim.
He's
You're
just
kind
a
of you're kind of
millennial.
dick.
He's
You
just
do like him more in the comic.
You
yeah.
spend more time with him at least, but he's definitely very flawed.
Yes.
He's very flawed.
That's the
and
point.
you spend the whole movie with him, yeah.
This decade or these few decades are all about the gray area characters, not the black and white,
The
good
sick
or bad.
kids.
Yeah, exactly.
The gray babies.
Yeah, the gray babies. It's a deep cut.
All right.
Schwarzenegger or Stallone?
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
That's my
that-
Jiminy Glick.
That a Jiminy Glick podcast transition.
Wow, Jiminy
I have
Glick.
to sit on my chair.
Hop
Weird.
up into your chair.
Oh yeah, when he
Schwarzenegger or Stallone?
Joe Berta.
dude, I fucking love. I love Jimmy.
I love Jiminy Glick. I'm a love Martin Short so much, but I think Jiminy Glick never got the due
I
that he
know,
deserved
and then
to
he
get.
did. Didn't he get a movie or something? Or
Yeah,
not?
Jiminy Glick in La
Yeah.
La
Oh, I
Land.
love it. I think it's great. Dude, honestly,
His interviews.
so I went to a taping of, sorry to go too tangential.
No.
But I went to a
Where we go.
taping of the Jiminy Glick show, and Martin Short almost hit me with his car coming into the studio while we were all walking to get in line for the show. And then we got into the show, and between their like takes, they would have like an audience warm-up guy, and he'd be like, can anybody do anything or whatever? And I was like, oh, I forgot what I fucking said I could do. But they
Show him your fingers.
but they brought me onto the set and while they were all getting ready, and then I started to do, someone said who can do a Jiminy Glick impression. That's what it was. And so I went up and did a stupid thing, and then I didn't
you do
realize.
it?
I mean, it was just like, I'm Jiminy Glick, and I'm merely a be a donut, or whatever.
Because the thing is, he always starts really high and then gets low.
Yeah. And so I didn't realize that Martin Short in the full Jiminy Glick outfit was like tiptoeing behind me while I was doing
great.
it. And then he puts his like hand on my shoulder, and I turn around and he's just staring at me because I was doing an impression and everyone's laughing and he's pretending to be offended. And then he goes, son! And I go,
Oh, wow.
Dad! And then we hug.
Wow.
And then he goes,
Wow.
I love you, buddy. And then I got to go back in the audience, and it was good.
Oh my god.
And then he
I just
whispered in your
imagine-
ear, don't you ever fucking do that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
He had me
I'll smear
ejected.
you on my dashboard like I should have.
Anyway,
I'm
sorry
gonna murder
about
you with
that.
my... Dude, Steve, you randomly have way too many, and maybe it's only two, and I'm putting you on the spot, but like studio audience stories. What was
I
the other one?
know.
You had another good one where you totally burned somebody like on the
Dude,
spot.
it was Todd Glass, and he was the comedian. And I was at a taping for that 70s show, the like, or no, that 80s show, which was a spin-off and was
Yeah.
real bad. It didn't last very long.
Who was on that? Who was in the cast for that?
Glenn Howerton.
Glenn Howerton. That's him.
Whoa.
He's the one. He's like the one, right? Is anybody else on it, really? Glenn
I just
Howerton played
think
all
so.
roles in that.
Yeah.
I remember there was like a punk rock girl with like a mohawk or something. That's all I remember. But Todd Glass was like picking on me, and he kept saying that I basically looked like a lesbian, and he kept like being really like mean, and it was like starting to get on my nerves, but everyone was laughing and loving it.
Oh, what
And-
an ass.
And eventually he came to me and was like, all right, I'll stop making fun of you. Where are you from? And I told him where I was from and blah, blah, blah. And then he started making fun of where I was from. And then finally he was like, you got anything else to say? And I was like, yeah, you look like, oh man, I don't know how to say this without it. It's kind of an
That's, if you don't feel comfortable saying it, you don't have to say it.
I basically
at the time it was great and perfect.
At the time, it was perfect, and I said a thing that absolutely burned him to the point where he stopped doing like audience stuff. And every time he was like off to the side while the show was going, he would talk to people and like point at me with like a red, angry face.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was great. It was wonderful. I really got a good
And then you felt a hand on your shoulder.
It was
Martin Short again. Son!
Dad!
I was like, not the
Shattered glass.
Yeah.
Not the time,
Oh my
Glick.
gosh, nice.
Not the time.
If you wrote a memoir, the chapter that where you tell that story would be called Shattered Glass.
Or I say just go ahead and call the whole memoir that.
Just go ahead and write that memoir and throw it in the fire.
The time I absolutely destroyed Todd Glass at a That 80s Show taping. All right. I'm sorry. I'll shut up now.
No,
that's
I love
perfect.
it. I'm so glad now we can put Todd Glass on the thumbnail.
Finally.
Yeah, you
And then
want
the
to
tag.
only if you want a
Finally.
million views.
Todd Glass, if you're watching,
He's
I don't
not.
know who you are.
He's not.
He's fine.
I'm just kidding.
He's funny.
I'm just kidding, Todd Glass.
All right. Stallone, Schwarzenegger, what?
All right.
know,
Moving on to topic number 1 that Elyse has in her document for this podcast. It's supposed to last an hour.
No, I mean, I don't really have. I mean, I have backup topics, but I just love chatting with you guys about movies. I love hearing all the stories. I love it. But I wanted to know. I feel like it says a lot about a person if you know whether they're a Schwarzenegger or a Stallone person.
Oh.
You go first,
Oh.
Joe.
Oh, man. If I'm one or the other, man, if I'm on the spot and just...
You are.
Gun to your head.
Mm-hmm. Say you're on a podcast.
Todd Glass is
where
about to come on
you have to
stage.
discuss it, and someone asks you out of the blue.
It's not the Todd
Todd
Glass
Glass.
podcast.
Todd Glass has just asked you where you're from and held a mic.
What's your sick burn for Todd Glass?
Todd Glass's Shattered Glass podcast. Shattered Cast. Where he talks to former co-workers on shows that went their separate ways through anger and angst and never talked, but he brings them back together for a reunion. Shattered Cast with Todd Glass's podcast.
First episode's Roseanne and Tom Arnold.
Oh, wow. I want to see them back together finally.
Yeah.
Okay, episode 13. I've got the same guests as episode 1 through 12. Roseanne and Tom Arnold.
Yay.
Okay.
Tom!
That's a really good Tom Arnold.
It is.
I have so Stallone's more of the artistic-y guy. If we were just talking cinema with the Rocky and the Rambo, the Rambo. But I think my immediate response is Schwarzenegger because so many of the movies are just connected to what I was enjoying as a kid. A lot, like Total Recall, T2,
Predator.
Cop and a Half, not Cop and a Half, Kindergarten Cop,
Cop.
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way, all that stuff. And then Stallone has like little blips for me. So I didn't grow up. I didn't have a Rocky dad. Like I don't know if you guys grew up with a Rocky dad. Like we watch Rocky because it's Rocky. Same with Rambo. Like we watch Rambo because it's Rocky. I didn't have that dad. So they were just kind of in the peripherals, but a lot of the Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff really popped in a bunch, and then Stallone came in with Cliffhanger. I was like, hell yeah. And he came in with Demolition Man. and
True
I was
Lies.
Super like, hell yeah. True Lies. Yeah. So I think Arnold. I think I lean Arnold.
Yeah.
I'm with Joe. I also lean to Arnold because I didn't even really appreciate Stallone until I was older. Like I didn't watch First Blood until I was like 17 or something. And then I was like, holy shit. And that was like my first Stallone, or that was like my big Stallone moment, I think. And then Demolition Man and all that shit. But yeah, it's totally Schwarzenegger for me all the way.
What about you guys?
What about you?
I mean, I'm same. Schwarzenegger for sure. He was like the actor of my childhood, of like watching every single thing that he does. I also think that even as an adult, if you were going to ask me whether or not I should put on a Stallone film or a Schwarzenegger film, I'm probably more likely to just on a Wednesday night pop on a Schwarzenegger movie, because I feel like so many of them are fun popcorn stuff. Whereas Stallone has a better batting average of hitting these great Oscar-winning films, like things that are probably going to be remembered for a very, very long time.
Right.
But not always what I want to watch, and then the rest of it is just kind of like, okay, So
I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I was a kid that was very into Rocky. I love underdog stories, and so watched Rocky all the time when I was a kid. And just love those movies.
Wow.
1 through 4 so much, and I love the new, like I love Rocky Balboa, love the Creeds.
The Creeds
are so
are
great.
good.
So I think Sylvester Stallone did accuse Eddie Murphy of sleeping with Bridget Nielsen.
Whoa.
And that ended their friendship. So
whoa, I didn't know
against
that.
Wait, that works against Eddie Murphy in this.
Yeah, but
Eddie says he didn't do it.
Yeah, but if Sylvester Stallone's calling him out, that's kind of dirty, That's dirty to do that.
That's true.
Without Sylvester Stallone, would we have Frank Stallone?
But also
I think about
Schwarzenegger,
these things.
apparently Schwarzenegger really screwed over Stallone and Bruce Willis on the Planet Hollywood deal. That was like a big controversy.
And that housekeeper. So there's a lot there.
Yeah,
There's a lot
we'll be right
there.
back.
But Running Man. We didn't even say the words Running Man. I love that movie.
But-
That's one.
Yeah, sorry. Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say James had a good point because what's a light Stallone movie that you could just put on? Like, don't tell mom.
Expendables.
Don't throw grandma or throw grandma off the
Throw
train.
mama from the train
Or
or
I'll
whatever.
shoot.
Which is also funny because wasn't that the movie? That was the movie that Arnold had his agent call in and say that he wanted to do. So Sylvester Stallone took it thinking that it was a good movie, but Arnold actually wasn't going to do it because he knew it was garbage.
Why is Arnold trolling Stallone so much?
That's what he's always been. If you watch Pumping Iron, that's the whole movie, all of Pumping Iron, that documentary, before he is even a big film star, is basically him going up to Lou Ferrigno and telling him he's so small and like, oh, you're going to go out like that. It's just him shitting on people.
What a shit talker.
I think Beverly Hills Cop was originally offered to Sylvester Stallone because he had a deal with the studio at the time that said that every big film he got first, like
first
refusal
dibs.
to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what happened after that?
No.
That movie that he ended up not making, Beverly Hills Cop, became Cobra.
Whoa.
Yeah, Cobra
Look at that.
was supposed
Welcome
to be
to Whoa.
Beverly Hills
We
Cop.
just say whoa to cool shit.
Yeah.
Wait, kind of like
Horror
how
comedy.
Short Circuit
okay.
was supposed to be like Terminator. Did you know that?
I can't.
No?
do Jiminy
Short-
Glick.
Is that right?
Yeah, Short Circuit was originally like a horror action movie with a robot that goes haywire and starts to kill people.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, let's turn it into a comedy and get like some real racist shit in there.
I was like, well, we're going to bide our time. When the sequel comes out, we're going to blow the bottom off this racism.
we're really going to figure this out.
This is kind of just like our running start into racism. We're really going to hit our stride in part 2. You just wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I tried to do the Jiminy Glick voice and ask horror comedy,
We
but
go,
I don't. It requires a
Horror
lot.
comedy. It was like you have to start high and go there.
You're going to shove donuts in your mouth too while you do it.
Well, and Juju beat.
That's right. and then choke on him.
I think yours is comedy.
Horror comedy? Yeah, comedy. Probably. But I love to laugh during a good murder. So,
I love a horror comedy. What about a horror comedy?
Yeah. Okay.
It's got to be funnier than it's got to be scarier,
Yeah,
though, for a
okay.
good horror comedy, in my opinion.
Joe's a comedy guy. He loves to laugh.
It's interesting. I love them both. I grew up horror was always something I was fascinated in because I kind of had it like drilled into my brain on accident and kind of messed me up for a bit. I saw Chucky when I was like 6, Child's Play. Parents somehow let that get into my brain. And I had like night terrors and sleptwalk for like 3 years. Like jump on my dad in my sleep while he was watching TV and scream in his face, "I don't want you to die." Like that's his horror stories that he would hear from that he would tell me about his 6-year-old coming downstairs. But because of that, I was always fascinated in horror. and always loved it. Like Nightmare on Elm Street's the best. It's my favorite franchise. Trying to pass on horror love to my daughter who just turned 13, and we've been through the month of October watching one horror movie every night because I didn't have.
You show her Scream?
I did.
What'd she think?
She is a sociopath. Nothing affects her. She's great. She's fine. Oh. She's like no scare response at all. So I appreciate horror. Love comedy just as much, but like, I guess I kind of equate it to like, think of the best movie theater experiences you've had, and I find that like, if you're lucky enough to be in a movie theater where you watch a comedy and everybody's losing their shit together, like I feel like that's rare. I got that rare. I got that with Anchorman, where people were just going nuts. I got it with Borat a little bit, the original. Same. And like Jackass, or Jackass 3, like those movies. They were so much fun.
Jackass 3, one of the most underrated comedies of all time.
I think those movies are great. But horror, so it's really hard to get that like communal, like batshit crazy experience with a comedy. But when you do, there's nothing better. Horror, you can go to a horror movie, and even a subpar one can get all of the theater in the same mental place together. The screams, the scares, the tension. And I feel like it's a little easier with comedy, but it feels better when you hit it with horror. It's easier with horror, but it feels better if you hit it with comedy.
You keep mentioning this theater. What is that? What is that?
It's where people used to sit and do inappropriate things with their girl and boyfriends in the dark, away from their family while a movie's going on.
But next to strangers.
Oh, heavens no. That's a prime case of getting COVID. There's no way that would happen.
Yeah.
What are yours, Steve?
Well, I love horror, but comedy will always have my heart for sure, forever. It's comedy for me. And Joe was saying like there's nothing better than an entire audience reacting and loving a comedy. And the same can be said about the horror reaction in a movie theater, but I've found that horror reactions can go two ways. Either like everyone reacts and they're like also all reacting and it's like gasps and like ah, or it's like someone goes ah! And then everyone starts laughing and then there's just laughter and it kind of just like it snowballs all this like heckling at that point in a horror movie, which kind of bums me out because a lot of horror movies are subjective. Like if something shocking happens on the screen and I'm like, oh my god, there's gonna be someone 3 rows away going, that's fucking fake. You know, or something, and it's like, hey. But two of the best comedy experiences in the movie theater I ever had was Borat, 100%, and Team America: World Police.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, and that puking scene in the alley, or it's just puke coming out forever. Yeah. Like I almost pissed my pants. Like, and everybody's just like dying in the theater. What an experience! I miss that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are hard to come by. I feel like lately that solid comedy, like you were describing, everybody's laughing in all the right spots. Those are tough. Like they're both tough genres to nail, but comedies just seem to be less and less. And maybe that's because people's tastes are just diverting so much. And it's harder to find those universal notes. I don't know.
I would also say culturally things have kind of shifted where there are places you could go. Team America is a great example that you probably wouldn't be able to make that movie.
Right.
It's not that old, but you wouldn't be able to make it today just because there's places that movie goes that catch you off guard, which then make you more susceptible to laugh even harder when it's that funny.
Right.
But catching people off guard is a little tricky now and has been for, I feel like, several years. So
yeah, catching people off guard is it's the new just pissing people off on accident. It sucks.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I know. And now the studios are kind of like nervous about putting things out that could polarize audiences.
Don Bluth.
Yeah.
Did you guys did you guys have any of those? Like had any comedy theater experiences where everybody just went nuts?
I mean, the ones you guys mentioned for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of others.
I remember, I'm trying to think where people went nuts altogether. This is an opposite example. I saw Napoleon Dynamite in a theater where I was cackling and everyone else was just crickets.
Yeah.
So
I know that one too. I hate that.
But other than that, it wasn't a theater experience, but the first time I watched Wet Hot American Summer was with like a bunch of friends at like a party where everyone, it wasn't like social, some people are paying attention. It was a bunch of people that were like, we're all hanging out. Let's put this movie on and let's all watch it. So everyone was focused together. And there were so many points where like people were falling off the couch, gasping for air, just trying to watch. And there were maybe only like 7 or 8 of us, but everyone was completely all on the same page. Before iPhones, you're right.
Damn. Before people were on their iPhones during a movie.
That's how I saw it the first time too. Like we were in college and I walked into a room of like 10 people watching it, and it was like me and my 3 friends, and we're like, what's this? Wet Hot American Summer. Check it out. And then we all sat down, and then my fucking face was blown off. It was so funny. It was like a revelation. So cool. I love that movie so much. So good.
I do too.
We're going to talk about more stuff that we love, but first, a word from some of our sponsors.
No, not yet, not yet!
Quip's got a new smart electric toothbrush that can help you get free products, gift cards, and more, all by having good habits. This is something brand new that rewards you and your mouth. The Quip Smart Brush for adults and kids connects to the Quip app with Bluetooth, so you can track when and how well you brush, get tips about and coaching to improve your habits. It's got this multi-use travel cover that doubles as a mirror mount for less clutter. And it's going to help you build a complete routine, because with Quip, you can also get mint or watermelon toothpaste with cavity ingredients for strong, healthy teeth. They have floss that expands to clean and comes in a refillable dispenser to reduce waste. And you get all this delivered to your door from $5, and shipping is free. How smart is this? This is the smartest toothbrush I've ever seen. And you can start getting rewards for brushing your teeth today and going to quip.com/film right now to get your first refill free. That's your first refill free at getquip.com/film. 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 It's Quip. It's better oral health. It's Quip. It's better oral health, made simple and rewarding. Thank you, Quip. Sorry I butchered that last line. Now's the time to try HelloFresh and get pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door with America's #1 meal kit. James and I have tried it, and we really, really liked it. He loves to cook, and I love to eat, and we got all kinds of different recipes that we probably never would have thought to make otherwise. And also it includes all the ingredients, so it's not like we had to buy a ton of one ingredient that we would never use again. We got the exact portion that we needed, which was great. Aside from that, HelloFresh is a pretty great company. The meals that they provide are delicious and nutritious, high quality, pre-portioned ingredients, as I mentioned. Over 90% of ingredients are sourced directly from growers to ensure peak flavor and ripeness. And they also work sustainably. They help us eat sustainably. So they are the first global carbon neutral meal kit company. They help you skip the grocery store, reduce your food waste by at least 25%, all that good stuff that we are all trying to do to offset our carbon footprints as we do. So right now you can go to hellofresh.com/filmhouse90 and use code filmhouse90 to get $90 off, including free shipping. If you use our code right now from Filmhouse, it's hellofresh.com/filmhouse90. Code filmhouse90, $90 off, free shipping. It's great. You know, you're probably overpaying on your car and home insurance. Sure, you'd love to save money, but is spending hours on your own shopping for a lower rate to maybe save a few bucks worth it? Probably not. You can use Gabby. Gabby does all the work for you in just a few minutes, and get this, Gabby customers save $961 per year on average. Gabby takes the pain out of shopping for home insurance by giving you apples-to-apples comparisons of your current coverage with 40 of the top insurance providers like Progressive, Nationwide, and Travelers. Just link your current insurance amount, and in minutes, you'll be able to see quotes for the exact same coverage you currently have. It's fast and easy to use Gabby. Like I mentioned earlier, Gabby customers save $961 per year on average. I bet that'd be nice to have in your pocket every year. Get some, new next-gen consoles out of that, maybe. If they can't find you savings like they did for others, they'll let you know so you can relax knowing you have the best rate out there, and they'll never sell your info, so no annoying spam or robocalls. So you're probably paying on your car and home insurance. See how much Gabby can save you. It's totally free to check, and there's no obligation. Go to gabby.com/filmhouse. That's GABI.com/filmhouse. Gabby.com/filmhouse. Thank you, Gabby. Well, thank you to our sponsors. We love you.
I'll try them.
I
will. You want me to do the next one?
I don't know. Does anyone else have anything they want? I have these.
No, you go. You go.
You go.
Yeah, you guys go.
Do this one.
Which one? Okay, so what's your favorite film of the decade?
No, that's not the question.
Oh, which one do you point at? Favorite. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Favorite film decade.
And this is the decade the movie was made, not the decade it takes place.
So like the era of filmmaking, the decade era
so
of filmmaking.
I can start because for me it it oscillates, I think, but I do have a really, really soft spot for about 85 to 95.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Is like for me, especially because a lot of the my heroes of the genre and the movie, like, you can turn on a like Death Becomes Her or Clue or oh my god,
You're trying to think of movies?
Seymour.
Oh, Little Shop of Horrors.
Or even you get, as we established earlier, you get your Pretty Women's in there.
And those are prime Dabney Coleman years as well.
Oh my god.
So
yeah, Dabney Coleman was everywhere.
I don't know who that is.
Really.
Who's that?
You'd know of him if you saw him.
Okay.
Steve, do you know Muppets Take Manhattan
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
You know that when they go to see the executive and then he like grabs Gonzo by the nose.
Yeah.
And he that's Dabney Coleman.
Oh,
Kill him. Remember,
yeah.
that's my favorite
Shit,
scene. He goes,
that's
I'll kill this
great.
fucking Muppet.
Notorious nose grabber.
I think he says like back off or the chicken gets
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's right. That's right.
But
That's Dabney Coleman.
Dabney Coleman.
Wow.
But
Love that.
I love that 10 years right there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the 80s are just, magical time for experimentation and almost zero franchises and all kind of like really risky, weird movies that,
Your Groundhog Days. Your Uncle Buck's.
It's all wonderful. I think if you looked at the 80s as a decade as a whole, most of it is trash. Like, that's the only problem. The good thing about the 80s is that now, looking back, in hindsight, you only remember the stuff that's worth remembering.
sure, yeah.
And there's so much of it because they were just firing everything they could at the side of a barn.
Right.
But there's also so much garbage in the 80s that only comes up. I worked at a post house and we would just I would do QC on movies. And so I basically, if you were working, you were watching movies. And if you had downtime, you were watching movies.
Nice.
So I would watch all kinds of movies. And have you guys ever heard of the movie Hard Bodies?
God, that sounds so familiar.
It's got a great theme song. It's just another one of those 80s
Like
fun
Screwball
summer things. Exactly.
Movies,
yeah.
yeah.
And they were like, listen, we get some like hunky dudes getting into trouble and we get some TNA in this movie. It's gonna do gangbusters.
What if we remade Hard Bodies?
I would do it.
Like shot
I
for
would
shot.
Start working on it tomorrow. I'm ready to do it. It's got, honestly, listen to the theme for Hard Bodies. It's so good and it's so 80s. But the movie itself is just garbage. Like, it's about 3 adult men who are like here we go. They're taking time off from like work or whatever to get away for the summer, but they really want to bang young chicks. That's like your entry point for the series. So like your heroes appear on a beach looking at all these hot young women and go, how can I get some of that ass? And the only person who can help them is this other young guy who's more cool than, he's like basically like rated R.
He's been a hard body for a long time and he's got all the tutelage.
Yeah. And so he basically is like, well, if you pay me or whatever, I'll throw parties and introduce you to young women so you can bang them. That's the premise for the movie.
That was the premise for most, like, 80s movies had such a, like, we gotta get laid before the movie's over type plot devices, and it's so stupid.
Well,
Such a simpler time.
Everybody making the movies was like, did you see Porky's? Yeah, I saw Porky's. Did you fucking love Porky's? Yeah, I love Porky's. Let's make fucking Porky's some more.
Yeah.
And they did it for
Porky's.
10 years.
We could do a Porky's. So for that reasoning, I would skew it kind of like you did. It would have to skew into the 90s because I think the 90s is when you really honed in.
Yes.
It was pre-realizing that the franchise was bigger than the quality of the film, right?
Sure.
And so it was still people trying to make something amazing. So you get like your Jurassic Parks, you get movies where it's like, okay, well, we're going to base it on something, but we need to make sure Steven Spielberg does it.
Right.
You know?
Or at least has a hand in it or has something to
Yeah,
say about
you're
it.
getting that experimental tone that Steve was talking about in the 80s, which I also contend is connected to, I think the comedies back then, they were just made a little differently, and I think they were just made with more heart. Like, it was...
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't necessarily comedy first; it was heart first, and then you laced comedy
John
around
Hughes
it.
was.
And
Yeah,
Hughes
John
was
Hughes
great
was
at
the
it.
experience first.
Yeah,
The,
Hard
the
Bodies,
teen
for
or the
example.
fan or whatever.
Heart bodies. So I feel like
Paul
that.
McCartney did every soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And Harry Nilsson did a lot of them too.
Harry Nielsen, good. The point.
Take my puppy anywhere.
Baby Elephant Walk.
So
Oh
good.
yeah, dude. You guys ever see?
Wait, that's Mancini. Isn't that Mancini?
Oh right, that is Mancini. Yeah, I'm thinking of The Point.
Yes, the point's
Whoa,
great.
I
Nielsen.
love the
Good.
point.
Love the point.
Wait, the
and-
point was
Own it on
Paul
DVD.
McCartney.
No,
Or
it was Nielsen.
Oh, I was thinking of
Yeah.
Rupert, or was that fucking that bear that hangs out with
Teddy
like
Ruxpin?
frogs and stuff?
No.
There's a Paul
Isn't it
McCartney.
Rupert's the bear
Rupert,
too.
right?
There's some kind of
know.
Rupert Paul McCartney thing where he wrote all the music or something. Have you guys ever seen Disorderlies?
No.
Yes, that's the heavy set, the three heavy
It's the
set
Fat
black
Boys.
dudes.
Yeah, the Fat
Yeah,
Boys. It's the Fat Boys movie where they're like literally working in a hospital and they're like they have to take care of old people and stuff. And it's
I like how I was trying to be like I was like, you know what I should try and do? I don't want to call him fat. I was like, so I said heavy set, but that was before you reminded me that they referred to themselves as the Fat Boys.
Fat
And then I
Boys.
went,
That was their professional working title.
I have seen Disorderlies.
That
yes.
means you're a good person, James. You really tried to
tried.
navigate in this era, this day and age.
But yeah, like I think that heart and comedy in the late 80s, like even Ghostbusters and those movies still had that in it. And I think that's why we love them so much. And then it went into the romantic comedies like you were saying, Pretty Women and stuff like that. And then what you were saying, James, is true too. The blockbuster changed. It became the summer blockbuster really started to take a hold then. And that heart that was still carrying over from the late 80s, I think was infused in all of that. But we were also just getting Spielberg going off and it was great. And Zemeckis being like, I like what you're doing, Spielberg. So watch out. I'm gonna Zemeckis this shit up too. Zemeckis is everybody's like underground subconscious favorite director. They just don't realize it.
We went through
talking about
didn't
that
we?
the other
Remember
day.
We went through that little Zemeckis phase.
I was just talking about the other day. I was like, I don't understand how Zemeckis can be so good and so terrible all at the
I
same
know.
time.
And he hasn't
He's
made
some
it's been so long.
some just trash garbage and then on the other side some of the best films of all time.
Yeah.
His batting average is like what is that 0.5? I don't
Yeah,
know. That's
I don't
that's
know.
too good. I don't know. We're lower.
That's how Ridley Scott is for me, though.
Yeah,
'Cause
same.
I got Ridley Scott and then I got Scotty Riddles.
Yeah, but-
and when he busts out a stinker, that's like, oh, Scotty Riddles. is back.
Scotty Riddle.
Ridley Scott though, even though he's like a working director.
Sure.
So when he has good movies, you're like, oh, Ridley Scott has like, oh, that's a good movie. Like he always puts something in it, but he's also the first guy, if I recall, who was filming an action scene and said, what if we set up 5 cameras? We only have to run the thing once.
Brilliant.
And then like the studio executive's head exploded. And he's like always comes in under budget, under time,
I
and
thought
then just moves on
Pipalock
to the next one.
suggested that.
Pipalock, yeah.
In documentary now, wasn't it Pipalock?
Oh,
No,
that's
that was.
great.
It turns out it was Ridley Scott.
Oh, okay.
So, but Zemeckis is so imaginative. Like I feel like Ridley Scott executes on these things really well, whereas Zemeckis, you're like, where did that come from? You know?
Yeah. Did you guys see
I love me some Zimmy.
1941 and Used Cars, the early Zemeckis
His
stuff?
early
I-
stuff. Yeah.
I've never seen 1941. I have only heard tales because it wasn't that the whole thing that they brought in comics. They were like, let's bring in John Candy,
Belushi's in it,
and
right?
John Belushi,
Yeah.
into
And
this like
Dan
war film.
Aykroyd, and
Yeah.
a lot of big stars in it. It's kind of a mess, but I love it. The score is very good. Early John Williams, and it's real good. It's worth a watch.
You ever
I think.
see Mars Needs Moms?
Yeah, that one, I think it's a little too old for that one.
You ever see What Lies Beneath?
Great
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
The end of that movie is awesome. And because again, like Elyse said, we did a Zemeckis thing where we watched like all 3 Back to the Futures, and then for some reason we watched like Death Becomes Her, What Lies Beneath,
Yes.
like this prime Zemeckis period. And there's a shot in What Lies Beneath, which is otherwise just a pretty normal thriller, like shot very plainly. There's a point where the camera goes without. I won't spoil What Lies Beneath, but there's a very tense scene and someone's lying on the floor, and the camera just goes from a very normal shot and then pulls down through the floor because they had clearly like had a slide away or something, and then
cool.
shoots up through the floor to the person who's on the ground unconscious, so you can like actually see their face. And I'm like, that is a genius level thing.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen that movie in like 20 years.
What's
and
more,
watching.
Oh wait,
yeah, and watching it now, I was like, damn.
I need to rewatch it. I think I've only seen it like twice, maybe.
It's really good.
I need to rewatch that.
He made it between, like, I think he had a deal, and, like, he was like, he had to make What Lies Beneath to make the other movie that he wanted to make, and I forget what it was.
What Lies Above.
Yeah. You got to start below and then go above.
My favorite part about that scene, though, James, is that you truly find out what lies beneath in that scene.
You're right.
It's true.
You get the answer,
right.
which is why we all went in the first place. They proposed the question.
I hope they...
He's like,
I'm gonna be in line for that movie. If they don't show me what lies beneath, I'm gonna get my money back.
Robert Zemeckis is on set, and he's like, "All right, folks, today's the day. Get ready, because we're gonna find out what lies beneath in this shot." And I call action.
The AD goes up to Zemeckis, and he's like, "I told them today would be the beneath the day."
Yeah,
Today's the day.
The crew's starting to get a little rowdy. Stall.
We were wondering, sir, Mr. Zemeckis, if today is the day we find out what lies beneath.
don't talk to me, plebe. That's what Zemeckis is notorious
Get
for
me
on set.
Scotty Riddles on the phone.
Where's Bob Gale?
Yeah, dude, without Bob Gale, I don't think he's got it. He needs Bob Gale with him.
Oh, we didn't even get to talk about the Wild Mountain Thyme trailer where Christopher Walken does that Irish accent.
I watched that in preparation for this and could not believe it.
I didn't know what I watched. And then I was like, I want to be able to at least speak to this a little bit. And I went and looked up a synopsis because I was like, what the fuck is this movie?
I mean,
That
it's just
was
like
nuts.
it's a rom-com or something.
Tell me what the plot is.
Ireland's
What's that
real
about?
upset.
Oh, are they? What?
Tell me what is that movie about? You watched just the trailer, right? What is that movie about?
I don't know. I just watched the trailer.
It's Emily Blunt. It grew up next to this other guy who is also Irish, and it would appear that she loves him, but John Hamm is also there, beckoning her to America. Maybe
It's like a love triangle kind of.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken showed up.
Old man.
Did you guys miss the part where apparently the neighbor boy has a family curse upon him, which makes him unable to realize that the neighbor girl has a crush on him? That's the movie.
That's just every.
Could you imagine? Could you just imagine going and be like, no, I have a curse on me that prevents me from knowing that you want to be with me.
Oh my god! I did see that a lot of people in Ireland are like, oh my gosh, how could you butcher this accent this way?
Is it Christopher Walken?
I don't know why you would put Christopher Walken in that movie.
I feel like it's going to be one of those things where it's like you get 5 minutes of Christopher Walken doing the Irish accent and then you completely forget about it and then it just works. Like, I think if we're getting it in little pieces in the trailer, it's like ridiculous and it doesn't work.
Robert Zemeckis said the same thing about facial capture or whatever, performance capture technology. So.
You guys will get used to it. You're right. He did say you'll get used to it.
Yeah,
you'll get used to it and you'll like it.
Yeah.
He did lose his way a little bit, didn't he?
I still want to see his Yellow Submarine movie he was going to do with Peter Serafinowicz. Yeah.
I would watch that. I mean, I'd watch anything. I have to watch Witches anyway.
Yeah.
I've heard it's no.
That's what he just did. I
I've
thought it was okay. It's all right. I'll watch it with the kids.
I love the
a big
original,
fan of the original, yeah.
and the book.
Me too.
I grew up on Roald Dahl and all of that stuff. So every single time they're like, we're remaking a Roald Dahl thing, I get excited, and then I watch it and I go, because inevitably this is the same which happened with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Tim Burton one.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we're gonna make it, but we're going to make it more true to the source material than the 80s movie or the 70s movie ever was, right? And you're like, oh, that sounds good. And then you realize that maybe closer to
that
the source
wasn't.
material is not the right direction with Roald Dahl. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, maybe by the time Wild Mountain Thyme comes out, we'll all be able to go see it
Wild
together.
Mountain Thyme.
Why is it called
Time is spelled T-H-I-M-E.
Why? It need to be call it something else for God's sakes.
I love talking with you guys about movies and gaffing and laughing and smashing. I have a blast with you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having
and
us.
doing the podcast with us. before you go, I wanted to just mention movie game again, because it is really it's fun, and it's been fun. It's been a lifeline for us in quarantine, getting to do those.
Well, thank you guys for doing it. It means a lot to me that you guys even get on the Zoom with me and press record. I appreciate the time and the laughs, and
it's always a highlight.
Hopefully by the time it's out and in people's hands, we won't be dealing with you can't actually see your friends and family in person, but God forbid we are. We've only ever played it over video, and it's a blast. Like, it's so much fun to play, over video chat, Discord, or whatever, So it's a very translatable party game.
Where can people find the Kickstarter to get it themselves?
It's over on Kickstarter. If I gave you a direct link right now, it'd be bit.ly.com/movie-movie-game, and that'll take you to the Kickstarter. And anybody that is interested in it, we just appreciate your support, and we're going to try and turn it around and get it out as soon as possible.
That's awesome. That's great.
Cool. And then beyond that, where can people follow you both and see all the other great stuff that you do?
Go, Steve.
Well, you can follow us on youtube.com/the Valleyfolk. That's our main channel where we put all of our comedy trash that people seem to enjoy.
That's a great genre descriptor.
And we've been doing it for a while, so we got some good trash for you. If you're looking for some laughs and some movie smash
ups. If you dumpster dive hard enough.
Yeah. We also we've been streaming on twitch.tv/the Valleyfolk quite a bit and doing some fun things.
Would love to.
Let us know. Yep.
That make up my entire.
No. Oh, well. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Sorry, John.
You're welcome, John.
Sorry, John. I don't know what's going on.
If you go to our channel, look up Frisbee lesson. I think.
Thanks.
Elyse is in that one, and it's madness, and it's really weird.
Oh yeah.
The Frisbee. That was so fun. I know, and it was like we were planning so many more things to bring you guys in on, and we were just like, never mind. We'll get
when it opens again. I love doing stuff with you guys. Definitely want to keep doing stuff with you.
Yes,
guys.
please. Yeah. Thank you for having us on to talk about movies. We love it a lot. I love it a lot.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elyse.
And thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you for everybody.
Show them your pinkies.
Oh yeah, look at these weird pinkies, guys.
He's got a gun.